Assalamualaikum. My name is Nawatira.
My name is Sana.
My name is Mazna.
My name is Nur Ali.
Hi, my name is Nordini.
This is
It's a story about
someone who is answering
His statistic exam.
Enjoy!
Oh no, why didn't everybody tell me this? I thought today's test was based on chapter 2. But this chapter 1, I've never really understand chapter 1. I'll be deadbeat if mom found out I failed this test. Wait, did I watch a video about chapter 1 last night? Hey, I think I did. How did it go?
The problem is a sample of college student was asked how much they spend monthly on a cell phone plan to the nearest dollar. You have to find the mean, median, mode, and standard deviation of the data, and you have to identify the shape of distributions.
To find mean, the formula is x bar equals the summation of f times xm divided by n, where f is the sum of the product of the frequency and xm is the midpoint for each class, and n is the total frequencies. So, the first step is to find the midpoint. The formula to find the midpoint is upper class boundary plus lower class boundary and divided by 2. So, 10 plus 19 divided by 2 is 14.5, 20 plus 29 is 24.5, and so on. And then the next step, you need to multiply the midpoint with the frequency. So, 8 times 14.5 is 116, 16 times 24.5 is 392, and so on. And then the last step, divide the sum of xm with the sum of frequencies. So, you need to add up all the frequencies and all the xm. You get 60 and 1940. So, 1940 divided by 60 is 32.33. In conclusion, an average of 32 ringgit and 33 cents was spent monthly per student.
The next question is needed. Before we calculate, we need to create the table of cumulative frequency in possession of data. After that, we need to sum all the frequency to find the middle position of data, where 60 divided by 2 and equals to 30, which is in between 30 to 39 or 25 to 45 class interval. Then, put all the value in the formula, whereas L1 is the lower class boundary of the class containing median is 29.5. Summation F divided by 2 is 30 as we did before. Summation F mod minus 1 is cumulative frequency of the classes before class containing the median, which is 25 minus 1 equals to 24. F mod is frequency of the median class is 21, and lastly C means width of the class median is 10. We put the value, we got 32.36. So, in the conclusion, this means 50% of college students that have been spent on monthly cell phone plan of less than 32 ringgit 36 cents, and other 50% spend more than 32 ringgit and 36 cents.
to find mode for this question, we're going to use formula which is x bar equal to L mode plus delta 1 over delta 1 plus delta 2 times C mode, where L mode is the lower boundary of class that contain mode. Delta 1 is the difference between frequency of class containing mode and the frequency of the class before the class containing mode. Delta 2 is the difference between frequency of class containing mode and the frequency of the class after the class containing mode. And C mode is the width of the class mode. The class 30 to 39 is the class containing the mode since it has the largest frequency, which is 21. So here we're going to find L mode, C mode, delta 1 and delta 2. The lower boundary of the class containing mode is 29.5 and C mode, the width of the class is 10. From this table, we can conclude that delta 1 is equal to 5 and delta 2 is equal to 10. Now, we are going to put all of these points in the formula. The answer will be 32.83. The interpretation will be most of the college students spend 32.83 ringgit monthly on cell phone plan.
In order to find standard deviation, we are going to be using the balance formula, which is s squared equals to 1 over n minus 1, multiply it with the total of frequency, multiply with midpoint squared, minus total of frequency, multiply with each midpoint, and then square it, and then finally divide it with n. As for the formula of standard deviation, we are just going to use the value that we found in variance formula, and then we are going to square root it. So for the first step, we are going to make the table and add two new columns at the end. The first new column will be the value of each midpoint squared. So 14.5 squared would be 210.25, 24.5 squared will be 600.25, 34.5 squared will be 1190.25, and so on. As for the final column will be the value of frequency multiplied with the midpoint square that we just calculated. So 8 multiplied with 210.25 would be 1682. 16 multiplied with 600.25 would be 9604, and so on. And then finally we're going to insert the findings into the formula. So S squared equals to 1 over 60, n equals to 60, 60 minus 1, and then open bracket, the total of the frequency multiplied with midpoint square would be 69,945, and then minus with the total of frequency multiplied with the midpoint, which be 1940, and then will be squared it and divided with 60, which we will get as equals to 122.34, square root it, and we will get 11.06. So the summary of measure of the difference of each multiplying cost from the mean would be 11.06.
To identify the shape distribution of the data, we have this formula: squeeness equals to mean minus mode divided by standard deviation. And we already found the value of mean, mode, and standard deviation before. Now we are just going to insert the value that we have found into the formula. First, we have mean 32.33 minus by mode 32.83 and divided by the standard deviation 11.06, and finally we get the answer negative 0.04. This concludes that the distribution of the data is skewed to the left.
Lah, that's it. I've been making a fuss about it. Is that easy, man? In this case, I won't fail this test. I'll get an A then. Yay!